Did you know that vulnerability is the key to accelerate your own leadership success? In this episode, we'll discuss how asking for help is the key to increase your own authority as well as becoming the trusted leader while fostering a better relationship with the rest of your team. Welcome to Provider's Edge, the podcast that helps healthcare entrepreneurs and innovators break down barriers and control their business, life, and future with valuable action steps. With me, your host, Sabrina Runbeck, a recovered clinician and a business deal catalyst. Let's rewrite the rules and create a positive social impact while increasing your profitability. We have Kelly Resendez here with us. She is such a powerhouse. We are just started talking about today's topic, and seems like we're definitely supporting women leaders in the space in exactly the same way. And so here, for all of you women healthcare leaders, she is a mom, a business executive of Good Leap, a multi-billion-dollar fintech company, a best-selling author, and a influencer. Kelly is a true leader in the space for empowering women to live a life of abundance. And as a co-owner of Go Abundance Women, a mentorship organization for women dedicated to achieving greatness and abundance, and she's solely focusing on how we can have the abundance mindset and overcoming self-sabotage to achieve our goals. She believes in joy and success go hand in hand, because at the end of the day, I think all of you guys have heard me talking as well. The true desire zone is something that you truly passionate about, enjoy, right? As well as something that is in your genius zone. That's the things that you just come so easy for you. So of course, that is the true way also, as she defines the abundance life. And through her most popular book, Big Voices, and her Women Empowerment Network, Kelly shares her strategies and tools to inspire and empower women to think differently and to achieve all they desire. So we so appreciate that have Kelly here with us. Thank you for joining us.
God, I'm so excited to be here with you, Sabrina.
This is actually a really great timing. So this week, I'm in New York for New York Tech Week, and the few different events that I either spoke at or attended has all been fintech. Definitely, we see that women's health has been ignored for so long that we needed to start push for more recognition into women's health. And I believe one of the things we even talk about is Halle Berry actually is pushing different state senates to sign off a bill to be more supportive of women's health. So we definitely are seeing we are empowering each other and seeing how our health is embedded into who we are and how we're achieving. So Kelly, you have been building this big network. What have you seen in the current landscape to say this is really truly needed, and that's why you guys are putting the Go Abundance Network together?
Yeah, well, the truth is, Sabrina, a lot of women kind of struggle in isolation. And so women don't know what other women are struggling with. And when you really look at the data and you dive into especially the female entrepreneur world, women are feeling like they have to do everything alone, that they don't have like-minded people to go to when they need help making a decision, and maybe don't feel comfortable going to that level of vulnerability and just admitting, like, I don't have all the answers, but I don't have a company big enough for a board of directors or board of advisors yet. That's a major one. The second one is work-life balance, and it's such a conversation because for many of us, it's like, there's really no such thing. It just, I always say, just be present wherever you are. And for women, though, the sacrifices that they feel like they would need to make in order to invest in their career more. For many, it's they just don't see them as worth it. And for me, I believe like we got to take our power back. Like we're the creators. Like we're so powerful. We can advocate for better healthcare. We can advocate for better, situations when it comes to our children and being able to have a little bit of flexibility. And we can make a decision to put ourselves first. And that's really through Go Abundance Women. We encourage all of our members, like take a radical stand, like put yourself first and then start asking for more help. That's another piece. Like we talked a little bit about the funding, phase. You've got to be asking for help every day. Who do you know? Who can you connect me with? What's the, who has done this already? Maybe they can give me some input. I believe that vulnerability and asking for help is really missing. And I think a lot of that comes from, I gotta act like I know it all. I need to act like I've got it all figured out so that I can appear confident. But true confidence is recognizing like, I'm not great at everything and I need help. I need to be able to be connected to, people like yourself that might be able to help me along that mission. So I love hearing that there's a big movement towards physical health because I truly believe our emotional and physical well-being is the absolute, like, just most important thing that we can focus on right now so that we can get to this next level.
In our conversation, we dove into the real power of vulnerability in business. It's not about exposing your weaknesses. It's about realizing you cannot do it all alone. When you open up and ask for support, you build deeper connections and trust within your team. This leads to a more collaborative and innovative environment. Vulnerability encourages personal and professional growth, showing your team it's okay to seek help. By fostering this culture of openness, you set a powerful example that ultimately makes your organization more resilient and capable. A quick pause, everyone. I love for you to take a screenshot of whatever device you're using to tune into our episode today and post it on LinkedIn. Tag me, Sabrina Runbeck, and share your thoughts on today's topic. Let's challenge the norm in your business and drive meaningful changes in healthcare together. Now, back to our conversation.
Yeah, women often is the foundation of any group, any family. And therefore, we put on more weight and more ways of saying, how do I take care of everybody else? How do I see problems? Let me jump in to solve it. And less likely to delegate and even know what to delegate. And that is burdensome. And as we start seeing the new growth, new trend of supporting women, both from a legislative standpoint as well as the innovation side of what female health means, and moving into that preventive side, better fertility, and for those who is not so much about children, and still be okay to say there's a new movement of women doesn't have to have a child to sing whole, and that's okay for you. And if that's how you identify, all power to you. And then for the women that has been going through IVF and all these multiple treatment, what are the other tools to really look internally? It's not really perhaps people understand how you as an individual, Asian, Latina, Black, white, we all have a different actually dynamic inside from hormonal pH balance, and knowing the differences will help us so much and be okay to take a stand, as Kelly, you were just saying, in whichever subspecialty, sub-niche, sub-industry that you're working in. Because at the end of the day, we're all experts, but we're expert in certain area. And be okay to say, I don't have to know everything. I don't need to boil the ocean. I can find the right resources to help me. And for me, build multiple companies, I think my advantage was it's okay to stay in my zone of genius, what I like to do a lot, and simply just finding the right partners that can take care of everything else. And just have to have the sensitivity to ask, like Kelly is saying, and be able to say, let's do something, let's try something. And even things exist, there's not technically competition. We'll do it in our different way. So especially when you're saying the network and support, are you guys in the sense of mastermind, peer-to-peer support, or there's a board of advisors, a set structure that you're helping women?
Yeah. So first of all, I'd just like to say, like, I completely agree with everything that you said about really focusing on some of these niche areas. And I want to start there just because I don't want to bypass it because it's so important and I am so passionate about it. So when we really look at the stages that women go through emotionally and physically, we have very little funding going into them. You know, being somebody that is more on the menopause side now, like the massive amount of focus we need to put there. Women aren't educated. We aren't educated about some of these things. And if you're trusting your Western medicine doctor, and I'm going to say that again, because I will take a stand on this, if you are trusting your Western medicine doctor to really teach you about prevention or about the things that you can really do to take care of yourself, you're on the wrong path. You've got to advocate for your own health and go out there and find those leaders that really are really, you know, trailblazers and uplifting women and recognizing that we all have individual needs at certain different levels. And for us, like, we do have a lot of hormone ups and downs, and mental well-being needs to be an everyday practice. You know, one of my girlfriends, great tech, you know, startup called Luna Joy, you know, is really trying to revolutionize the way that we look at mental health and creating more access to these things, because women are suffering, and they're suffering because their Western medicine doctor isn't going deep enough to tell them, like, hey, our ranges on blood work and other things are really off. Like, this has been advocated by our insurance company, and there's very little that's being taught in medical school even as well. So I think for anyone listening, if you believe in something, it's time, like right now, to radically make a big difference and get out there. You've got social media, where women are the most powerful force because we buy things, and we could stop. Everybody could say, you know what, let's quit going to our OBGYNs until they put a lot more emphasis on IVF and they put more emphasis on menopause and other stages. So I just believe, for anyone listening, we're way more powerful than we give ourselves credit for, because we're the ones that really buy and consume a lot of the things that are out there. So with that being said, you know, I'll tell you, within GoBundance Women, that's what we're about. We help ambitious female leaders and business owners really scale so that they have a platform, that support system to get to the next level. So in addition to, you know, having a growth accelerator process that we take you through that up levels leadership and your confidence and delegation and time management so that you really can get to that next level, we put you into a pod of 4 to 5 other women who do become your board of directors. They're the ones that you're going to be able to mastermind challenges or show them your pitch deck or do other things and really get that feedback that you want. And then on top of that, we also have, you know, coaching, mindset coaching, because I truly believe our feminine power, who we're being, is more important than what we're doing. And when our outlook and when the way that we navigate life experiences is in a place of positivity, I think the sky is the limit. And so there's a lot more with amazing events and you know, things like that. We've got Cody Sanchez. I don't know if you know my girlfriend Cody, speaking in Texas at our next event down there in Austin. We had, you know, just amazing speakers at our event in Costa Rica. But I believe it's our time, you know, for anyone listening, like, just you gotta invest in yourself to get to the next level. And we deplete ourselves so easily by giving and being such nurturers and solving other people's problems. And we've got to be in a place of receiving more. And that really is what's going to take you into abundance. And that's what we do at GoBundance Women.
Yes. And then I wanted to address in the perspective what Kelly, you mentioned in now we are a platform of clinicians and leaders in the healthcare space. And many of us have seen that there's already a push to see more and more patients to even get enough to build and keep the door open. And so therefore, there's no way that your OBGYN or family doctor are going to have enough time to even teach you
Right.
about the wellness side, the preventative side. And even though we have billable tools that can help you as a remote monitoring, as a way that your insurance actually cover for. But many people have no idea what are these resources out there because it's not talked about enough. So in fintech environment, we start seeing a lot more conversation happening, especially we start, even for myself, I practice medicine in surgery. And you guys know I have backed away from that a lot more and then still maintaining some cardiothoracic practice because I still like to have that reality check of why I moved away and then how else we can creating impact on the larger scale. But at the same time, I will go to my functional medicine doctor to read the lab because they see it much differently than how we were trained in school to say, oh, this is a range. These other numbers make sense together, but they see a much wider way. And we also needed to think about all different modalities when it comes to health. And that's how women can empower each other to say, your business perhaps is solving this one problem, but this one problem actually can be solved different ways. How can we collaborate with each other so people getting all different angles to say, let's just use example of shoulder pain. We carry a lot, right? We're tense. We're in
Are you
front of
talking to me right now? I'm seriously over here, like trying to get my shoulders down. You know exactly what's going on for me.
right? And then so if we are saying traditional, yeah, we should go to a therapist, a physical therapist, understanding the muscle, the joint, how do we do strengthening exercise. But at the same time, I have a practice of going to my acupuncture because with the deep needle and stimulation, after that half hour, my muscle instantly got softened. But if we repeat, go back to the tense state of worrying and typing away, then of course our shoulders start to become more tense again. So it becomes that mental and physical fitness is a daily activity. And then sometimes one modality works better than others. Perhaps we should really think about how to try different ways that goes with business development and scalability.
Yeah.
We can't just see, oh, I think this is my marketing problem, so let me just spending more dollars to throw some ads in it. Well, we also seen in the past few months to at least the last year, Google ads, Facebook, your Instagram, all those ads dollars are not converting so well. So
Yeah.
how else do you create perhaps organic traction, perhaps the B2B relationship, all these other channels that really can help you to finding that changing market so you can keep up with the market and not feeling like, oh my God, I don't know what to do, and be actually having other women who either going through similar experience or already figure out a way to be that sounding board for you is so crucial.
We tackle the fear many entrepreneurs have about asking for help, worried it makes them seem weak. This mindset can actually hinder your growth. Recognizing that seeking help is a strength, not a weakness, opens up new opportunities. We want you, as the leader, as the stakeholder of your company, to stay only in your genius zone. Knowing how other people can support you is a critical factor, and sometimes that is the fear in itself. And in Post-Point Pass, we have developed a system that supports leader, what's called a book of you, that your entire team will learn how to support you, leverage your talent and skill sets, and not sway you into the distraction zone, the discouragement zone, the dreadful zone of feeling like you have to do everything for them. Go to postpointpass.com to discover more. We want to know that by pinpointing where you need support and reaching out to the trusted mentors and peers, you can really create a culture of openness. Not only helps you, but encourage your team to do the same, fostering a collaborative and innovative environment. If you're listening and thinking, I have a story that could inspire others within the healthcare space, then I want to hear from you. Do you believe your journey could motivate others in healthcare? Then apply to see if you're qualified to be a speaker on our show. Just visit theprovidersedge.com. Let's share your success and spread the inspiration further. All right, back to the rest of our show.
So crucial. And you brought up so many good points there. Like, you just look at shoulder pain, like from an education standpoint. Nobody tells you in menopause what happens to your muscles and what happens to, your joints. And so many women are going to go to this doctor, that doctor, whether it's heart palpitations or any of the other things. Like, we have to start getting louder and asking for what we need. And that's really where I love social media, from an aspect of like, the more we share, people like yourself out there telling people like, hey, functional medicine is the way of the future. Like, why am I going to keep going to a doctor that doesn't even address my issues because they've got 15 minutes that they can clock with me, rather than investing in my own health? And so from an investment standpoint, yes, as you're scaling your business, it's important to have your marketing on point. It's important to have, your operational efficiencies. It's important to have these things, but the foundation is your physical and emotional well-being. And you've got to make sure that you put that at the top of the list and show the investment in it. So, with masterminds, and I didn't really find them until, years ago. I was an overachiever and I struggled with a lot of loneliness. I didn't have a place to celebrate. I didn't have a place, where people really understood some of the challenges that I might have been facing. And so fortunately, I ended up creating one. But at the same time, so many people struggle with loneliness, because being an entrepreneur can feel that way, especially when you're burning the candle at both ends and you're trying to figure out everything on your own. So whether it's GoBundance or EO or YPO or working with a coach or becoming a part of a, of a group of people trying to scale, that community is going to get you farther and faster. And part of this is what I'm really passionate about, which is we need to have whole brain stability. When we're in our left brain, it's all about competition and winning. We're not going to share our strategies with other people. We're not going to ask for help. When we get into that right brain of creativity, it's like, who do I know that maybe's been here before? How do we work with one another and support one another so that I don't waste a year on Facebook ads, or I don't waste my time on this? And really just understanding, like, if you have a world positive mission, if your company is world positive, people will show up to support you. And this is what I hope every female person that's listening right now, if you're in a role or you're doing something that's not world positive, there will be a lot of resistance to what you're doing. Our company at Goodleap, our mission is to increase sustainability and reduce carbon, take care of the earth. Today, our nonprofit, which we give back to, 1 million people have clean water a day because of our water desalination plants. And so it's like, we've got this cycle, this continuum of like, hey, we're going to do good, but we have a bigger purpose behind it. And so for any of your founders that are listening, just make sure you're world positive. Make sure there's not anything to it, because in the medical space, I'm sorry, whoever the people that put half the medicines out there without having a conversation about prevention, that's not right. Like, we've got to make sure that we start preventing a lot of the things that medicine ends up treating.
Right. And then also have a clear definition what healthcare is. I think a lot of time people misunderstand healthcare is treating the entire health. And it's not just when you have problem, then you go for it. Women, doesn't matter if you're a leader or you think you're a leader or not, you are one, because you're leading your family, or you're leading your team, or you're leading really yourself to be understanding what does it mean to be you, and have that center of gravity to have a voice and not feeling like you're in competition. At the end of the day, just like my TEDx coming up, it's about that out-competing and creating that empowerment ecosystem to solve the 3% problem, which is the less than 3% of the time women-owned businesses get VC funding. So it's not so much on why are we not getting there, why there's so many gatekeepers. We had to be our own champion. So like Kelly is saying, be able to attract the right people in our own system and continue to expand that support to get going. And then it's not, also sometimes we think, oh, how come we're not there yet, right? There's a process, there's a timing. And as long as we continue to move one day at a time, you will get there. And it just depends on what's the quality of people that stand with you and behind you. That's the speed you either launch like a rocket ship, or you're going to go a little bit of up and down roller coaster.
Absolutely. And we have a choice. Like, that's the thing, is that we have a choice. When you have a great idea, the first thing that you always have to remember is like, and I think it was Mel Robbins that had a great, segment on this, which was like, no one's coming. Like, you have to rescue yourself. If you are struggling, you are the only one that's going to actually get yourself through that. And part of it is that vulnerability that we need to share, that like, hey, I don't know it all. And it's okay. I truly believe a big challenge with what you're talking about, this funding thing, has to do with worthiness. And the part that I really want women, and I'm so passionate about it, is this belief that like worthiness is our birthright. Quit trying to prove your significance. Quit trying to prove your importance. Like, at the end of the day, nobody else really cares. Like, you've got to have that fire in your belly that you're just gonna, you're gonna push through whatever voices in your head. Because not all of us, I was raised by two entrepreneurs that invested in real estate. Guess what I am? I'm an entrepreneur that invests in real estate, right? And so we have to recognize, like, we have all of these beliefs that we accidentally picked up along the way. And maybe you had abusive parents. Maybe you grew up in the foster care system. Maybe it could last forever. In spite of those things, you got to override those voices in your head, because if not you, like who's really going to do it? Like, nobody, probably. And so it is that worthiness that I think that we've got to start with.
Exactly. And we also seen the pattern of when we work with our investor partners, the MMA partners, we actually come in to do the due diligence on their human capital, social capital, and culture capital. The reason is being we can have the perfect business plan, the proven numbers of all the attractions. But if your team cannot maintain itself or cannot grow at the rapid pace that you're supposed to be scaling, you're not going to go anywhere. So we have to trust ourselves enough to understand ourselves and to be honest about, actually, I deserve to be supported the way that I want to be supported. I shouldn't be constantly be managing other people's feeling all the time. Then you're going to burn yourself out both ends. And we have to be able to do that. And so that's why for us, it's so important when we're looking into companies and looking into what does it mean to qualify your management. And it's that holistic way of, yes, it's your psychological profile, it's your physical, how your body even language, how you're drawing strength. And yes, it's your skill set, right? We do care about all the skill sets that you brought in, and many of them are very transferable. And lastly, but not least, is that spiritual part of you. What is it meant for you to be on this path to do? And your company better be aligning with your personal biggest mission. Otherwise, you're going to start thinking about something else subconsciously and not actually working on your topic level of concern. I know this topic can be going on and on about it. And then typically when I have 20 minutes to talk. So definitely appreciate Kelly for all your amazing insights. So how can people learn more about your Go Abundance Women?
Absolutely. So I've got, we didn't get to dive into it today, but one of the things that I would say is my superpowers is helping people through self-sabotage. And that a lot of times we have a great vision for what we want to create in our life. Maybe we have goals and a business plan, but then a lot of times we don't realize how powerful that subconscious mind is underneath. So I've got a great 3-part series on overcoming self-sabotage. You can hop over to www.downloadthepod.com and check that 3-part series out. And you can find more information out about Go Abundance Women there.
Awesome. Yeah. For all the amazing ladies out there, we know you are a leader, no matter you believe or not. And you can definitely learn a lot from Kelly. So go to her website and find her 3-part mini series. We can't wait to hear more about Go Abundant Women in the future.
Embracing vulnerability can be a game changer for your entrepreneurial journey. You have to also figure out what vulnerability means to you. It's been discussed and published by many different researchers, and you have to figure out how would it sit for you to truly open the door for your entire company's growth. Are you ready to challenge your beliefs and transform your own approach to how you can scale your business? Today, we have discussed 6 major points in this episode. Number 1, understanding vulnerability in business, which means recognizing that no one can do it all alone, and be able to ask for help, admit when you need guidance, fostering deeper connections and trust within your own team. That's also with the understanding that you can leverage other people's talent to fill the gap that you might not be as proficient at. And it's okay to not have the skill of every single aspect of your business, which is actually pretty crazy for some people that they would say they have experience in everything, they can help you in everything. That's also not reasonable. You need to find the true expert in the domain that they can accelerate your business, and that is what their true highest talent is at, instead of stretching themselves thin and actually not able to grow your company. Number 2, the benefit of asking for help is about building a strong support network, provide access to diverse perspectives, and accelerate your business growth by leveraging a collective wisdom. That truly means you have partners or people from internal business that can fulfill a gap. And we define, especially in Post Point Pass, a 12 business critical factors. And it's really about leveraging someone who's great at legal versus someone who's a financial expert to the people who are doing branding and marketing their entire life that connects to the sales talent. And just because someone who can sell really well, but if there's no leads that bring to your business, then you don't have anything to sell. And same thing, when you are doing public relationship, reputation management, really become a megaphone for your business, that need to be the right stage. Not talking and publishing everywhere, but not having a clear, defined message that people can connect with or convert themselves into a buyer. And that also means you have the back end of staff that you trust, as well as your co-founders, the executive leadership that can dive in, jump in to perform with the right tools when a big client able to sign up. Instead of figuring out, what's the gap and miss once we have a client. Number 3, overcoming the fear of asking for help. Addressing the fear that asking for help will make you appear weak is a false belief. Understanding that seeking assistance is a strength opens new opportunity for growth. Because confidence is actually measured in 3 ways. Number 1 is confident in your own self, the ability to perform certain tasks. Number 2 is social confidence. When you're in an open environment, you know what you know and what you don't know, and be very open to discuss those different topics and stay humble and seeking out questions. And we all know when you have a best conversation is when other people are all able to chime in and to share their thoughts, not for us to talk for a long time. And then the third confidence is actually the confidence in knowing who you are as a person. That has nothing to do with your skill set, with your own titles of your career in your business. It's actually simply confident in who you are as an individual and understand your strength and weakness and embrace every aspect of who you are. Number 4, we discuss practical steps to building a supportive network. Identifying areas where you need support. Reach out to trusted mentors and peers and create a culture of openness within your organization to encourage collaboration and innovation. Now, when you think about encouraging innovation, it's actually opened up to other people's method beyond what you used to know. And be able to be a good active listener to understand what they're trying to convey and how would that adapt into your own business and your own workflow. Not in any way of responding to what they have to share, but summarizing and analyzing what they have been doing and how to apply to your expertise and your own business. All right, last but not least, number 5, we talk about real-life success stories from women entrepreneurs, which highlights the power of vulnerability and the importance of asking for help. Now, I would love for you to tell us, what strategies have you been using to embrace vulnerability and build a strong, supportive network in your business? Post on LinkedIn and tag me, Sabrina Runbeck. Love to have a conversation with you. Thank you for tuning in to Provider's Edge podcast. We hope you enjoy our latest episode and found the insights and tips helpful. We'd love to hear your feedback on the show and learn what topics you'd like us to cover in the future. So please take a moment to leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform and let us know what you think. Your feedback is essential to help us improve the show and provide you with the content you need to take your healthcare business to the next level. Thank you for your support, and we look forward to hearing from you soon.